In this video, I'm going to show how I cut tile for my wood stove. I have a bulkhead that the wood stove is next to, which is a wall, and it's made out of teak wood, and so I needed to protect it from heat. So basically, with wood stoves, you'll usually have tile or brick or something around them. So I needed to cut tile. I decided to go with a certain tile pattern. I looked at a lot of different options, and I really like this black and white option that I found. So I needed to cut some of these little square pieces that are really small. So here's some here. So you can see how tiny these things are, and I wanted to cut them into a triangle shape. So if I cut them diagonally, I could get two triangles out of one piece, and it's really small. And so I had to come up with a way to do this. So I'm going to show you how I did this. So what I did is I made this jig here, and so I have a couple options. I use little nails, little brass brads, but I also cut out a notch on the other side. Now either one of these will work. I don't know why I did. I might have done the nails first and then decided I wanted to do it differently. So what I did was I put this piece of wood in my miter box, and I just cut a slot in them, just part way down, maybe 1/8 of an inch. And then I chiseled out this corner to make a triangle. So this triangle is half the size of one of these pieces of tile. So I just set the tile into the notch here and hold it, make sure it doesn't move, make sure it's in there right, and make sure it doesn't move. And then I cut it. So I was scoring them with a glass cutter. Problem with the glass cutter on this tile is I'd do about 2 or 3 of them, and then the glass cutter would be totally wore down and dull, and it wouldn't work anymore. So I come up with an idea using my Dremel tool to score it. So you have to put a score in it, just a little scratch. I mean, the glass cutter just put a little scratch in it, but that's enough that you can snap them in half. So, and I'm going to show you what the pattern is, and what it was like when I first bought this tile, and what I was going to do. Originally, I bought this tile, and they were in sheets, were all these pieces. So it's got these octagon pieces, and they were glued together with a space in between all the tiles, so you could put grout in between the tiles. And I really don't like grout. I think it's ugly, and it was also going to make the pieces were too big to fit where they needed to go. So what I did was I just took a razor knife, and you can see the glue here. It's like silicone where they were attached. These were all glued, and I cut them apart. So I don't know if you can see that, but there's a space in between there, so you can put grout in. So it would hold all the little pieces in place where they needed to be. But I decided I didn't want grout because I needed to make it smaller anyway. So these sheets were like a foot square, and maybe a little bit bigger than that. And they just weren't going to fit where I needed to put them. So I needed to squeeze them down and make them closer together. So I thought, well, why don't I just cut them all apart into individual pieces, and then cut the silicone and get rid of that, so I can butt these up right up against each other flat. And it actually looked a lot better when I did that. So I'm going to show you what the pattern looked like when I bought them, and I got a little bit laid out here. I cut all of them, so I can't show you what a one sheet looks like, but I can show you the pattern. Okay, this is the pattern, and it has these white octagon shapes, and then little diamond shapes in between. So that's how the sheets came, and you can see the silicone. I have cut it already, but I kind of pieced it back together, and then there was silicone holding the little black diamonds in place too. So it left space so you could put grout in between all the cracks. And like I said, I don't like grout. I think it looks ugly, and I don't think it's really that sanitary for a kitchen counter either, because it gets real grimy and stuff down in where the grout is. So, but this isn't for food. This is just for heat protection from my wood stove from damaging the bulkhead, which is, like I said, made out of teak wood. So, so now I'm going to show you how I cut these black diamonds and turn them into small triangles. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut these little black squares or diamond shapes, depending on which way you orient them, square or diamond. And I'm going to cut them from corner to corner. So I'm going to do this, I'm going to score it. And just a real light score. And then I use this tool here and I snap them in half. So let's do one, see how it turns out. So this is the jig I made. And you can see I just took I put this in my miter box, and I took my miter saw and I cut 2 45-degree cuts. And then I chiseled this out. And so all this does is just holds this in place so I can score a straight line on it. So I put the tile into this slot here, make sure it's in tight all the way, hold it in tight, make sure it's in there all the way. And now I'm going to take my carbide cutter I have on my Dremel tool. So it's really worn down, so there's not a whole lot of it left. Usually these are bigger in diameter. But this works fine. It's small, but it works fine. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my Dremel tool on. Make sure you're wearing eye protection when you do this. And I'm going to go ahead and score this and then snap it in half and see how that goes. I got that in tight as I can get it. I'm holding it really tight with my finger. I'm going to go ahead and score it. Okay, I chipped a little corner off here of the glaze. It might be okay, because if it breaks right on the cut, it'll be all right. So this doesn't look real straight to me, but let's see what we get. So now I'm going to go ahead and place this in this tool. So I got a score right here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's scored. I think you can see it. There's a line going diagonally from corner to corner. So I'm going to turn this square into 2 triangles. So that's the point of doing this. So I put this in upside down. And then I have to make sure I get this in straight. Otherwise it's not going to snap evenly. Okay, now all I got to do is just squeeze this, but I'm going to put it in a plastic bag because these pieces are going to go flying, and I don't want it to hit my camera lens. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in this shopping bag, and that'll catch it, and then I just squeeze them together until it snaps, just like that. And if it worked properly, I should have 2 triangles. And it didn't snap right on the score. It was off a little bit. So they are not perfect. So this one, I don't think I can use it. So it's garbage. So let's try another one. I got plenty of extras. Never give a sucker an even break. Well, sometimes every once in a while, which is most of the time, they all turn out to be suckers because I can't get an even break on them. So they need to be even. So let's try another one. And it looks to me, so I got to be real careful that I don't Dremel into this, and it looks like I did. So I may have to switch to these little brads here, these nails I put in. It holds the same way. And this end here is not burned up. I think I Dremeled into this too much now. I can't get a straight line. Let's try it again on here one more time, and then I might have to switch to the brads instead of this. I think that's the problem. Let's see what I can do. If I hold the Dremel tool just right, I might be able to get a straight cut. Okay, it's not perfect, but we'll go ahead. Since I scored it, I'm gonna have to try it anyway. So let's see what we get. It might turn out better than I thought. Now, some of this silicone is covered on the entire back piece. Normally, it's just little corners, edges that are got a little dab, but this may cause a problem with it breaking properly. So let's try this again. Should I get it in there right? So just put it in, make sure I get it lined up. There, put it inside the bag. And snap it. Okay. Yeah. I don't know about this one. Okay. Now, this don't look too bad. So you can see it's got a real straight cut because tile, it's somewhat a crystalline structure. So all the atoms are evenly spaced pretty much. And so that's how you get a real nice straight cut or snap when you snap it in half. It's pretty flat, pretty straight. And same thing with diamond cutters that jeweler cuts diamonds. They get a real flat surface because it's a crystalline structure and all the atoms are lined up and spaced exactly the same spacing. So that's why it works. That's why you get a good straight cut. This one isn't perfect. I was off a little bit when I scribed it and or scored it, so it's not perfect. So this one here, this little one here, I might be able to use because some of the areas on my wood stove backing are not perfect. So I guess I'll hold on to these and see if I can make them work. If there's any areas where they'll work on the stove. So, okay, let's try another one. Now, okay, got to make sure there's no silicone. This one's been scraped. I scrape them with my razor knife if there's globs of silicone on the sides here. This one looks pretty clean. So I'm going to go ahead and use the brads on this next one. I think I can get a straighter score. So let's see. This one's a little harder to hold than the notch, so it's going to be a little trickier. But let's see what that looks like. Oh, that's really nice. That looks good. It's pretty straight. It's not perfect, but it's straight enough. And we'll see what happens. So I'm going to put it in here. Try to get it in straight. Okay, and then I'm going to put it in the bag so it doesn't go flying. Just put it inside and snap it. It sounded good. Let's see what we got. Okay, yeah, look at that. Okay, so there you go. There's two nice triangles, just like that. And it's not perfect, but it's pretty damn close, and I think it's close enough for what I'm using these for. So I'm going to go ahead and do a couple more, and we'll see how it goes. So I just put it in, these little nails hold it in place like that, so it doesn't move on me. Make sure it's in all the way, and then I just hold it with my finger and squeeze on it pretty tight so it doesn't move. I need to move this. This one's a little more awkward. Get the bag out of here so I don't get it caught up in the Dremel. Okay, let's see what happens. It's not perfect. It's close. Let's see what we get. Now, I wasted a lot of these tiles because they don't all break evenly. So I got extras, and I hope I don't run out because they don't make these anymore, as far as I know. This pattern, I don't know if they do or not. So I was having a hard time finding them. The hardware store, they ran out, and I didn't have enough, so I went to a tile store, and they said they couldn't get them either, but they had some samples, and they just gave me the samples, so I had enough to get through the project pretty much. But I still just need a bunch of these triangles to finish out the project. And I do have a bunch of them cut somewhere, I think. I'm hoping. I thought I saw some. And so I think I'm going to be okay. I just don't want to run out and not be able to finish the project. So let's try this one. Okay, this one looks like it worked. No, it's not good. It didn't crack on the score, and this had silicone on the back. I don't know if that was the problem, or I just didn't have inside the tool in just the right spot. You got to get it lined up just really perfect. So I'll go do another one. This one's got silicone on the. See the little dabs of silicone on the sides here where it originally was held together. I got to make sure I get that cleaned off. Otherwise, that's going to be a problem because it sticks up a little bit, and they won't fit into where they need to go perfectly. So it'd have been nice if I could have bought these all separate where I didn't have to do this and cut them all apart. I had to cut all these panels down. So I'm going to try this again. Okay, that looks just about perfect. So let's see what happens. So I'm going to put it in the bag and snap it in half. And again, the reason for the bag, so the tile don't go flying, because when I snap it, they go flying, and I don't want to damage my camera lens. That sounded good. I can kind of feel it when it works good. Yep. Okay, that's like perfect. Look at that. So 2 little triangles there. They're the same. I could probably put them side by side and they probably damn near like line up perfect. Yeah, that's pretty good. It's almost perfect, probably pretty much perfect and close enough. So that's how you take a little square or diamond piece of tile and snap it in half. And I mean, I mean, just look how flat the edges are where it's snapped. It's perfect. It's incredible. It's kind of unbelievable that you can make this work. So I had to, like I said, I had to figure out how to cut these, and that's what I come up with. And like a lot of my boat projects, I don't know why, I just happened to luck out on them. So this is no exception. So now I'm going to show where these go on the where the wood stove is set up, and why I'm doing this. This is the wood stove that I built, and so I built this out of 3/4 inch thick high pressure steam pipe. I used to work on a research farm, and so I had access to a shop and welding equipment, and so I decided I wanted a stove for my older boat, my other boat I used to have, and so I built this stove for that boat. And but this is 3/4 inch steam pipe and 1/4 inch thick plate steel on the top. And the bottom part down here is actually a Chinese wok for cooking Chinese food. And I cut the bottom out and flipped it over and made it into it's like a broiler. It's so the flame is inside the pipe here, but down under here there's another 1/4 inch thick plate steel on the bottom. So the fire is in this part right here, and then I can put like a plate of food under here and heat it up if I want to while I have a fire going in here. So, and then the very bottom piece here is a disc blade for it's off of farm equipment, farm implement. It's a disc for disking. And so disking a field, I don't know if you've ever seen tractors, they have all these, they'll pull an implement behind the tractor and there's all these discs that spin. They cut down into the ground and they flip the soil over. So a lot of people call it plowing, but it's actually disking. A plow is different than that. A plow is more like a blade that goes down into the ground, and it's at an angle and it's curved a little bit, got a little curve to it, and it goes down into the ground and it's pulled behind the tractor, and it cuts into the ground and it flips the dirt over. So the disking and plowing are very similar. If you have weeds growing on top, it gets flipped over and that'll kill the weeds. So now the weeds are buried underneath, the roots are up on top. So any rate, so this is the tile that I put on this wall here, the bulkhead, to protect it from heat. You have to have something around your wood stove to do that. A lot of times it'll be brick, or other types of tile. But I picked this pattern out and I put all the pieces of tile in close together, so there's no grout. So as I showed it to you outside, how they were spaced originally, there'd be space in between here and grout. You'd have to put in, it's like cement. You put in between the cracks, and like I said, it's ugly. I don't like that. And and the pieces wouldn't fit the sheets of tile because they're already pre-connected. So this made it smaller. It actually worked out perfect. And so now those little triangle pieces that I was cutting outside, the whole purpose for those is I still have to put in tile around the top here. So all these notches here in the top need to get filled in. So these will just be glued in, either using the type of glue sheeting that I used to stick this tile on, which is actually 4 tile, or I may just go ahead and use some butyl tape, which is just some gooey, it's just some gooey stuff that they used to put car windshields in. But you know, I can use silicone or whatever, high temperature silicone, because this does get pretty hot. And so that's the whole purpose in cutting these little pieces of squares and making them into little triangles, is to fill it in. And then I have to do the sides here. I don't think it'll stay. I think I'll have to hold it to show you where they go here. But same thing. They're going to go in these sides here. Like, they're not going to stay in. But so I got to do the sides all the way around the bottom and all the way around the top. Yeah, so across the top, across the bottom, and the sides all have to get filled in. And then this wood stove does sit up on a pedestal. I had to make a pedestal to raise it up a little bit for the stovepipe to reach the ceiling. And I cut a slot in the back of the pedestal because eventually I'm going to have some duct work. This is the engine box that my diesel engine sits in. And so what I want to do is have a fan down low coming out of the engine box on like a 4-inch aluminum ducting. And what it'll do is it'll suck, because this gets really hot here, a lot of hot air back here, and it'll suck that air in under the pedestal and through the ductwork and blow it out on the floor, because heat rises. You want to get your heat down low. So that's the plan there. But at any rate, so this is what that was all about, me cutting all these little triangles and putting them in here just to fill this in. So if you found this video to be helpful or entertaining, please like and subscribe.